They told me the ride would take 30 minutes. Only 30. Only this feels longer. Could have been the sea. Must have been my head. Same old cold, same old salt. Same goddamn gulls screaming like drunks at a funeral. But the docks feel smaller now. Not sure if they shrank, or I just got older. I used to dream about this moment. Coming back rich, confident. Waving at the same old drunk by the same old mooring line, like I'd made it out and made it big. But I didn't come back for victory. I came back for a box. The one with my father in it. He was found by the signal bell, face down. Nothing dramatic, didn't fall nor drown. Just didn't get up.
You're late!
Well, I'm here now, and besides, the boat was late.
Boat was on time. You just missed the first one. Didn't think you'd come at all. Here's the keys. Front door's a bastard. The lock sticks. You'll probably have to kick it. Freezer's got a separate key. Power's been cutting in and out, so whatever's left inside, yeah, it reeks. You'll know the smell.
Was Freya with him?
Your father just died, and you're asking about the damn dog?
I wasn't asking. I need to know. I didn't get to say goodbye to either of them.
Look, your neighbors say she hadn't been around in a while.
No one saw her run off?
Jesus, stop worrying about the dog. Your old man's dead, and you're out here chasing ghosts. Get your priorities straight. You've got the house to yourself. If you want him burned, office closes at 4.
He didn't talk about me much, did he?
He didn't talk much, not after what happened. Stopped coming by the docks, didn't really sit with the boys anymore. Just kind of faded into his own. But everyone remembers what you said at the bar. We were kids, but you were loud.
Town's smaller too. Or maybe it just looks like it flinched, like it's waiting for something worse than this. Used to be packed on mornings like this. Fishermen drinking too early. Kids chasing gulls. Now, there's one car parked near the old station, and nobody's looking up. He built this porch when I was 12. Took 3 weekends, made me carry every board. Said if you want something to hold your weight, you better know what it's made of. I sit on the step, look out across town. Same painted boats, now sun-bleached and dry. Same church bell that hasn't rung since the storm cracked the steeple. Same hills, but fewer rooftops, fewer lights. You leave a place thinking it'll freeze without you, but it doesn't. It just forgets you slower than you forget it. Front door won't open. Of course it won't. Not even a rattle. Like the house is holding its breath. Side windows cracked open, just enough to tempt me. It's muddy, paint flaked, frame swollen with rain and years. I wedge a boot up on the barrel, grip the sill. It groans like it remembers me, but it gives. I'm inside, back where I said I'd never be, and it smells surprisingly clean, like someone tried to scrub the years off. Still looks the same though. The couch is still here. Blanket folded over the arm. The radio's newer. He must have replaced the old one. I used to hit that thing when it crackled too loud. Guess he got tired of the static. Dog bowl's still there, empty. But angled like someone had nudged it. Like maybe she waited a while. Fridge is near empty. Just butter. An old jar of something black, unlabeled. Freezer's locked. Keys in my coat. I leave it for now. He didn't leave a mess. He left like someone expecting to come back. The bedroom door's stuck. I lean into it and it opens too fast. Slams the wall. The bed's made. Pillow dented on one side. Blanket tucked, but not tight. Dresser's got a photo of me. I'm 15, wet from the dock, holding a fish I didn't catch. He's standing behind me, hand on my shoulder. Neither of us smiling. I remember that day. He'd let me skip school to go out on the boat. The fish wasn't mine. He passed me the rod when it was already halfway in. Still told the guys at the bar I'd caught it myself. Said I had the family hands, even though he knew I didn't want them. He never said why he kept the photo, but it's still there on his dresser beside his journal. First line reads, "The bell's gone quiet. No date, no greeting, no warmth, just a warning. Feels like a confession." I sit on the couch, same spot he used to nap in, mouth wide, snoring like a machine dying slow. I sit and I listen to the pipes breathing, to the wind in the siding, to nothing else. Tomorrow I'll clean the freezer, then maybe check the old lighthouse. The boatman told me that they're tearing it down, said it's too close to the cliff, too unstable. But we all are, aren't we? I came back for the box, but the box is the easy part. The hard part is knowing he kept living after I left, that he still drank his coffee, black and bitter, that he oiled the hinges I swore would always squeal, that the dog went missing and he didn't call, not even once, not even when I wanted him to, and that none of this waited for me. Woke up with the sun in my eyes, didn't mean to fall asleep on the couch. Must have nodded off after going through the drawers. Neck stiff, but my back's worse. Guess the house got older, but I didn't stay young either. Coffee's gone stale. Not that it was ever fresh in this house. Still, something about drinking it here feels wrong. Like I'm stealing from a dead man. The wind's coming through the side window, the one I crawled through. I started clearing out the living room first. Boxes under the coffee table, tax forms, fishing licenses, a few awards from some council no one remembers, a rusted tin of coins, some foreign, most too old to spend. Then a folder, yellowed plastic, labelled in his handwriting, Norway Fisheries Compliance, 2003. I was still here then. We fought about quotas that year. He said whale numbers were fine. I said they weren't. He called me a traitor. I remember yelling. Don't remember what I said. No need to now. Hallway closets filled with winter coats. Still smells like Dad. His gloves are still tucked in the sleeves like he just came home last night. At the bottom, a leash. Freya's. Blue nylon, frayed. Buckle snapped. I ran my fingers along it. It was sticky with dust. No one had touched it in a while. Started reading more of the journal last night. Most of it's in fragments. Not like a diary. More like driftwood thoughts. Too many boats gone. No new names in the registry. Town feels thin. Saw a girl walk past the bell. Thought she was your mother, but wrong legs. Freya still waits by the porch every morning. I read that line twice. She wasn't in the yard when I got here, but he says she waited every morning. He doesn't lie. Not about her. I unlocked the freezer. Hinges groan like something waking up slow. Inside, vacuum-sealed whale meat, wrapped in dated plastic. Still looks red. Still looks like something you'd have to explain to someone from the city. I remember the last time we ate it together. Rain coming in sideways through the window, power out, stove lit with a match. He carved it like it was ceremony. Said the meat kept you sharp in the cold. I told him it tasted like rust and brine. He laughed like it was the first honest thing I'd said in months. I hated that meal. I think he loved that I hated it. I closed the lid. Didn't toss it. Not yet. A knock. just soft with no urgency, like hesitation. I opened it. Ingrid. Ingrid used to wait for me after school. Didn't say much, just stood by the path, boots half sunk in the mud. I think she thought I'd ask her to come with me when I left, but I didn't, and neither of us ever brought it up again.
Heard you. We're back. You could have called.
Yeah,
Here.
she said, handing me a loaf of bread. Appreciate it. It's strange without the bell.
I still wake up waiting for it some nights.
I heard they're tearing the whole thing down.
Yeah, but some folks say it should have been gone sooner.
And the others?
They say we built it where we shouldn't have.
She turned and walked back down the hill like she never knocked at all. I cut a piece, ate it cold. Didn't taste like anything. Funny how people treat bread like comfort, like it fills the cracks. I'm not sure anything does. I sat down again and turned more pages. One entry stood out, ink darker, pressure heavier. Light flickered last night. No boats, no wind. Just flickered. It wasn't the bulb. There's something unsettling about seeing that sentence. He wasn't afraid of much. Not the sea, not the silence, not the dying. But that line was scratched in like it needed to be remembered. I'll head to the lighthouse tomorrow. I want to see it before it's gone. Even if it was already out when I got here. Even if the town pretends it never mattered. They're good at that. Good at pretending. They let the church rot but still show up on Easter. They sing wailing songs but forget the words halfway through. They remember I left, but not why. I'll finish clearing the back room tonight. There's more paper, more tools, more of him scattered in the dust. I keep thinking I'll find something important. Some letter, some will, some line that says he was proud of me, even if he never said it out loud. But so far, all I've found are scraps. Scraps and meat and a leash that hasn't moved in years. I'm starting to think this house isn't haunted. It's just holding its breath, waiting to see what I do next. The wind picked up last night, the kind that makes the walls groan like they want to lie down and never get back up. I didn't sleep much. Read more of the journal instead. Saw something float past the harbour mouth. No shape to it. No birds above. Fish wouldn't touch it. Whales haven't come close in weeks. Water feels wrong, like it's hiding something deeper. Tide pulled in without touching the shore. I laughed when I read that one. Imagined him sitting here with the curtains drawn, staring out like the sea owed him answers. But I didn't laugh long. I needed to move. House was getting tight. So I walked. Not toward the shop, not the bar, toward the edge, toward the lighthouse. They've already cordoned it off. Plastic tape, rusted stakes. Sign says danger, unstable cliffside. But if it's going to fall, it hasn't yet, and I needed to see it. The steps up to the bluff are still here. Worn into the rock, boot-shaped divots from 100 years of men watching for boats, watching for whales, watching for storms. I used to stand here with him. He'd point and tell me what kind of ship was out there just by the angle of its bow. I don't see any ships now, just water. The lighthouse is worse than I remember. The glass at the top, shattered like a scream with nowhere to go. I sat on a bench halfway up. Didn't want to climb all the way. That's when I noticed it. The surface of the sea shifted, like something underneath turned over. No wind nor boat, just a sudden dip, then stillness, like something large and silent had just passed beneath, heading closer. I stood up fast, not out of fear but from reflex, because whatever it was, it made the air feel smaller, like I shouldn't be breathing it. Felt it in my chest before I heard anything. So I ran, back to the house I once ran from. Then I opened the journal again. The next page was heavier, paper soaked once, then dried stiff. Ink bled in places. Light blinked in the water, below the surface. No boat, no reflection. Freya howled at it. First time in years. Wouldn't sleep after. I set the book down. Didn't want to read more right then.
Just checking in.
You've been doing that a lot.
Look, I'll get to it. I've got papers from the council. If you're not keeping the house, I'd like to buy it,
he said, stepping in slightly.
I'm not trying to be pushy, but it's part of a development proposal. They want to reclaim some of the cliff road, prevent erosion. The place isn't safe. You know that.
He lived here till the end. It was safe enough for him, I said, pushing him back out the porch.
He died walking the shore alone. You think that's coincidence? Look, just think about it. If you stay here too long, you'll start listening to things that aren't real.
He left the folder on the step. Didn't even ask if I wanted to sell. Just dropped it off, like the deal was already done. Like the house was already empty. He came back again, said he could take the house off my hands. Didn't ask if I was selling. Didn't ask if I was dying. Just stood there with that folder, like he already owned it. Same words, same man. I sat on the porch till dusk. Didn't light anything. Didn't move much. The sea didn't shift again, but I felt it, something waiting just beneath the black line of the horizon. I found one more page folded into the back cover of the journal. It looked like it had been stuffed there in a hurry. There is a sound the sea makes when it's watching you back. It's not the waves, nor is it the wind. It's that quiet when the bell should have rung. The breath right before something sees you. I folded the page. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't call the investigator. Didn't throw it out. Just set it next to the freezer key. Tomorrow, I'll cook the meat. One last job before I go. Unless the sea has other plans. Didn't mean to fall asleep. Dreamt the sea came in through the walls. Poured in slow, like fog. And it stood there, still and waiting, like it wanted to see if I'd wake up. Might as well eat before I go. I opened the freezer, reached for the whale meat, still wrapped, still labelled. Haraldson, humpback, early spring. I couldn't bring myself to toss it yesterday. Figured I was waiting. Guess this was what I was waiting for. Meat cut clean. No smell of rot. Just old iron and sea. Dad used to say you could tell what part of the ocean a whale came from by the way it smelled when it cooked. North meat was colder. South meat was sweeter. This one just smells tired. Didn't even season it, as I didn't have the heart. Found this tucked under the lid of the freezer. Tapes yellowed, papers soft at the corners. There's a brightness under the black. Not light, just shape. Like it's pressing against the skin of the water. I think it's listening. Tried to whistle back, although I think it whistled first. He really lost it in the end, or maybe he just stopped trying to explain things to the rest of us. Hard to say. First bite's tough, chews like rope, same as it always did. I always said I'd rather starve than chew that stuff again. But I didn't starve. I just got tired. And tired people eat what's left. Doesn't taste bad. Tastes like iron and wood smoke. Tastes like home, if I'm being honest. If home was something you could bite back into. That's enough. The fog's still here. Hangs heavier now. Not thick like a wall. More like a hand that doesn't let go. He always said the sea was a friend. That it gave what you asked if you were brave enough to take it. The lighthouse is just bones now. Just a sorry pile of brick and bird shit. But the sea's still out there. Still pretending it doesn't know what it did. It's quiet today. No gulls nor boats. just the water pulling soft against itself. There, on the horizon, it's not a wave, not a whale, just a shape under, like the sea blinked. Guess the old man wasn't crazy. Maybe he just got chosen to see it first, still chewing, jaws tired, mouth numb. But I keep going, because something out there, like it's calling my name but doesn't need to speak. I walk down the path, past the tape, over the edge where the warning signs leaned too long and gave up. It's not pulling me, nor is it dragging me. I'm just walking, and it's just there, like it always has been. Maybe he didn't lose his mind. Maybe he saw the end and kept it quiet. Maybe Dad wanted me to finish the meal before I saw it too.